What was the worst advice you have ever received? Invest in DVDs because you can pawn them for cash when you need money. My grandmother told me that if I wanted to stop being poor, I should find a job in logistics or warehousing. I was literally managing a warehouse at the time. All you have to do is prove to the woman that you are better than the man she is with and she will come running. From a former manager who had 7 girlfriends, and a wife, who stabbed him when she learned about the girlfriends. All that I can think is 8 relationships? That sounds so exhausting. Yeah, I barely have the emotional strength to deal with myself. One other person is already pushing it, yet alone 8. The trick is not to deal with yourself. Dealing with me is what I call other people's problems. Lawyer said I should just admit that I did it. I denied it and the case was dismissed. Not me, but I remember reading a thread about a man who told his girlfriend every day that she stinks. She washed 2 or 3 times daily, tried everything she could to get rid of the smell. Until she cracked and started screaming at him asking WTF was he smelling. Apparently his father told him tell a woman she smells every day and she'll be constantly clean. He just took that as normal good advice to live by. What ha 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 ha. Lamau I know. I'll see can I find the thread now. Edit, found it. The reason was actually so much more worse than I recalled. Wow. That's some Rhymedo tal piece of shit material if I've ever seen it. That's actually so ducking sad though. Just ignore your bully. Okay, I did as you advised and they stabbed my hand with a pencil to get my attention. Worst advice received and acted upon. My friend out of high school got a job at Ford starting at $28 hour full-time and in the UAW. His mom said he shouldn't waste his life working at a factory and go to college despite him having a 1.8 GPA in high school and very good with working with his hands. He quit, took 2 classes at college and dropped out. He spent the next 8 years making pizza because the job market was trash. Edit, this is a lot of comments and upvotes. If Dave sees this, hi. What is he doing now? Trying to get into a trade but not putting much effort into it. Working odd jobs here and there. He committed some crimes over the years and is in his late 30s now. I guess at least he doesn't have some dead-end factory job. The resentment is probably holding him down a bit. In reality he was never going to be a high achiever. He is good at doing tasks but isn't a big picture planner or really try that hard. That is what made the initial advice so horrible. He would have been 100 times happier just working the job at Ford for a livable wage. A job people would have fought you for. He got super lucky by landing it. Soon after that they didn't hire the job anymore and made all those people contractors and 12-hour wage. In my early 20s, my stepdad encouraged us, me, sister and brother, to max out our credit cards. Then file bankruptcy. My sister did it. My brother did it. I didn't. He insulted me for years, for being stupid. Put some butter on it, my father to me directly after getting a 3rd-degree burn on my arm, cooking accident. You put some butter on it, a little garlic and then mozzarella and you got a decent side. Throw it in a pot, add some broth, a potato. Baby, you've got a stew going. Call the family cause we're having my son for dinner. Was told by a sailor of 5 decades that the best way to get rid of a sunburn is to take the hottest shower possible. Not only did that cause immeasurable pain, but didn't help in the slightest. It's a cool, not cold shower. He had to have been trolling you. Cool bath soak with some aloe in it is better. To file for bankruptcy over a $2,500 car loan. Edit, I've been informed that I should have said declare bankruptcy instead. Not even sure you realistically can accomplish that. Usually bankruptcies are for people severely in debt. I think OP figured that out when they filed for bankruptcy. Show your employer loyalty and they will be loyal to you. Good things come to those who wait, not good things come to those who go out and take them. It was originally all things come to those who wait and later turned into good things. Means if people are persistent and patient, they will finally achieve their goal. In other words, it means a person must exercise patience when working on something close to his heart, even to reach the goal he/she desires. Edit, formatting. Every saying has an environment it applies to and one it doesn't. If you go work somewhere else, no one will pay you as much as me. My dad, I'm currently making twice as much plus benefits. Edit. Wording, I make twice as much plus benefits originally had not including benefits. Working with for family can be a nightmare. I recently quit working for my dad and I'm already less anxious. From my father, don't go to the doctor's office if you only have one problem. Wait until you have 4 or 5, that's how you get the most bang for your buck. This is horrible advice, but as someone who went a very long time without medical insurance, I kind of get it. Replace all your office computers with Macs, then you don't need to set up network drives because you can use iCloud instead. Don't worry about industry-specific software we pay for, there'll be something in the App Store you can replace it with. I live in a rural area that up until just a couple of years ago, had one hardline internet connection into it, with no redundancy. More than once, the line was severed by a utility company when they dug to access their lines that ran parallel to the internet line. When there were natural disasters, earthquake, landslide, fire, commerce in the entire area came to a screeching halt. This happened on a fairly regular basis. My boss, the head of the organization, a proudly self-described tech Luddite, had been convinced by a pair of well-spoken tech bro entrepreneurs in the nearest urban area, 300 miles away, that it would be a good idea to go with thin terminals, with all of our files stored on their servers, also located in the city, at the other end of the internet line that was frequently out of commission. He overrode every reasonable argument over why this wasn't a great idea and then was enraged when the inevitable occurred within weeks of implementing the new system. He couldn't understand why I couldn't edit documents or access the database that served as the foundation of our work. For days. It ended up costing just as much to reverse his decision and bring the data back closer to home. This fiasco was one of the incidents that led to his ultimate dismissal by the board of directors. Oh hey, I had a boss like that once. My ex-boss, our Ed, was obsessed with launching a new website for our company. He spent an enormous amount of company time on it and neglected our other core business functions, such as reaching out to clients. After several months, I learned to my horror that he was convinced that a sleek website could, entirely by itself, attract new customers. He genuinely thought that a nice website would act like a magnetic force, bringing in new clients, and that nothing else needed to be done. After a year of this, the new website was launched. Our revenue declined by 30% because we had barely had any contact with any clients in the past year. Hardly anyone visited the new site, and it was scrapped a year or two later, after he'd been forced to resign. Ada, no, my boss was not a character from The Office. He was dumb enough, just not funny enough. As a temporary measure, it's okay to insert a copper penny into a screw-in fuse box circuit until replacement fuses can be obtained. That dangerous advice almost caused a house fire due to an overheating circuit. You should use a 22 bullet, that way you can hear when it pops. Ah yes, the audio-visual alert fuse. Plus haptic feedback. Don't take it engineering cause it's saturated. Don't study computer science, all the programming will be done in India in 5 years. Literally everyone in my family in 2006. They pushed me hard for accounting, but I found a compromise in a degree, information systems. I found my way back to software development quickly though. It's not as bad now, but in 2010 you'd get your resume thrown in the trash at a lot of places if you applied to a programming job without a CS or engineering degree. It's too late for you to learn to code. I was 14. Ain't no dumbass 8 years old's gonna understand coding. Who gave that advice? Uncle, that's the shitty part, I was too young to have my own opinion. Positive part, I did start to code at 15, now I make simple websites for money during school. If you run out of dishwasher detergent, just substitute it with regular dish soap. A big mistake that will only be made once. It's almost good advice if you also need to mop your floor, but would rather shovel bubbles instead of actually mopping. It's also great advice if you want to renovate your kitchen.